Can I see show of hands? Like anybody feels they don't have enough information about Django Software Foundation? I see at least a few people. Okay, they're shy. They're not raising their hands. Don't worry. So Django Software Foundation, DSF, is responsible, like development of Django is supported by DSF. It's an independent foundation. It's a non-profit based in the US. The goal of Django Software Foundation is to promote, support, and advance its Django source project, which is Django. Supporting development of Django by sponsoring sprints, meetups, gatherings, and community events such as this one. When we say promote the use of Django among the worldwide web development community, and one of other goals is to protect the intellectual property and care about frameworks' long-term viability. And of course, one of the main goals is to advance the state of art in web development. DSF has, since it's a non-profit, it is being run by a board of directors. We used to select those every 2 years. Now we are in a different cadence, like we select half of the board every year. And you can see the current board, current members of the board. We are super lucky today. I think 4 of us is here. Haim is not present. I'm the vice president in this term. Thibaud is our secretary. Jacob, probably a family name again, is not present here, alongside with Kátia, Kátia, long-term board member, and Sarah. Okay. After I finished the introduction, I'm hoping they could all say a few words and share their experiences. The second important team, they're all important, but the second one in my list is fellows. I'm really proud to say that we have a great record of amazing fellows since 2014. Other than Berker and team, I had the opportunity to meet all of them in person and receive their support in many ways. Natalia is together with us today, and now or later, I would like you to introduce the fellowship program, Natalia. However you prefer. Okay. Then we have all the other teams which make Django happen. Steering Council is the other part of the board of directors. They are the technical board, and they make the main technical decision towards frameworks future. We don't have Adam with us here, unfortunately. Adam Jansen is one of the members of technical board. Maybe he drops by later and we can hear about him a little bit. We have mergers team, releases team, which I believe, Natalia, you're...
I'm in both, yeah.
Yeah. Would come over, maybe give a short introduction about those teams, because I think it's a good opportunity for us to mention those.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So the mergers and releaser teams are different, but the people inside of it, it's very similar. The fellows are in the fellows team and in the mergers and releaser team. The releaser teams right now, besides Sarah and myself, there is James Bennett in it, which I don't think has made a release in a long time. We have been having some conversations with Marius, whether we might update the team so we have people more recently active with releases being involved. I'm not sure, Marius, if you have any further input regarding that. Not yet shareable. Okay, and then the mergers are Sarah and myself, Claude, Sarah and myself, but basically Sarah and myself are doing the mergers. The mergers are the ones that have the final say into what goes into the main branch of Django and whether something needs to be backported or not. And the releases are in charge of grabbing a stable branch and make a release available to the public and have the features of bug fixes available from it.
Maybe you can mention a triage and review.
Right, the triage and review team, which is a little bit further down, it's a wider team. There are a lot of members. I don't know all members by heart, but we are closer to maybe 10. Yeah. So the triage and review team is a team that is in charge of not the only ones that can do reviews on PRs, but their review in a PR has a different status in that it's people that is more accustomed to the proper guidelines that are required to comply with when developing code. They have more knowledge about the framework, the different parts of the framework. They have some expertise in a particular part of the code. They have been contributing already, so they have a level of trust that the DSF as a whole having them into that, an approval from them has a certain weight. And particularly, the fellows have no extra privileges into what they can land. It's not like they can decide to make a change, it's just landed. We also need to have reviews performing our proposed PRs. So in order not to have deadlocks between the two fellows reviewing for themselves, we have this wider team that they will also do reviews for the fellow branches in order for us to keep progressing and advancing the work.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to save the accessibility team for later because I think we almost have the whole team here. Maybe at some point we can actually have all of them here and have a quick chat. I know a member of Ops team, at least other than Natalia, is here. Maybe again at some point we can invite you to the stage so you can talk a bit about the Ops team, unless you want to come now and make a reference.
Maybe about this, I need to connect first.
Oh. You want to come and say hi? Talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
See the Ops.
Marius, we will then have you wherever you choose.
About the Ops team, currently we have 4 members, and we are trying to maintain this number of members. What we are doing, we are maintaining infrastructure that are behind our CI for Django project, infrastructure for DjangoProject.com website, and basically things like that. So team is quite stable. We have basically the same members for many years. Quite recently, Baptiste joined our team. Yeah, I think that's it.
Can you also say a few words about security team?
Security.
Oh, about security team. So security team is responsible for basic checking security reports. There we are getting to security at DjangoProject.com email address.
Well, Marius, Carlton, myself,
Oh, okay.
Adam.
Yes,
Okay.
we have a lot of members of security team. One of them gave a talk yesterday about regular denials of services that we are getting recently quite a lot.
Thanks, Marsh. We'll invite you to the chairs later, and like we have a big translation team who's behind all the translation efforts of all the Django documentation and other parts of the framework. So then we have DApps. So I don't know if you're familiar with the PEPs, which is the Python enhancement proposals. And I don't know which actually predates each other. I imagine that PEPs came before, so like, okay. So those are documents that specify Django's governance and major technical changes. In specific, DAP 10, for example, specifies the organizational structure and rules for voting. I think the talk just before the lunch break, Jake was presenting a new DAP on having external workers integrated into the core library. And you can go and read all the DAPs in Django's GitHub repo. And yeah, if you want to propose a new technical change, that's how we do it in Django. Next, let's briefly talk about membership. So Django Software Foundation have two different levels of membership, individual members and corporate members. Individual members are appointed by DSF in recognition of their contributions to the Django community. Recently, we improved the documentation around our guidelines on what those recognition means. Previously, used to be a little more like have a little more technical focus, but we realized what and with the feedback from the community, we wanted to emphasize all kind of contributions, both like technical and non-technical contributions, makes what Django framework is today. So there's an update on that. Please take a look, and we can share on Slack after the session. And then we have corporate members. So that program designed to give a voice to organizations interested in supporting and sponsoring Django's continued development. I think we have the updated list, thanks to Kátia updating it. Our corporate membership, JetBrains and Defna is our platinum corporate memberships, and Sentry, Honor, Crib API are the gold ones, and we have many silver corporate members, and really those corporate members is making us like support the community in meetups or in like DjangoCons, but also supports our fellowship program and all the other programs that need financial support. So thank you. And if you're a corporate member in the room here today, maybe you can you can see no one, maybe someone from Cactus, no? Okay. Yeah. Next, I'm going to invite Thibaud to talk about the budget.
Thank you. I'm Thibaud. I'm a new board member as of this year. Presenting this on behalf of Jacob, who's the treasurer at the moment, just to give you a sense of essentially where your money goes when you donate to Django individually or as a corporate member. Our budget primarily by very, very large margin comes from donations. So here we only have donation figures. We don't have things like our online shop. That's something we do because people want it. That does contribute a bit, but donations is the name of the game for us. And one of the things we've been trying to do to increase donations in particular is having a new fundraising working group. If that's your jam, these are the numbers we're trying to improve. And as Çağıl mentioned, this goes directly towards supporting programs like the fellowship. So switching over to expenses, I believe we're quite a lean foundation as far as those things go. Almost as much of the money that we receive as we can goes towards either paying for the salaries of our fellows or donating to grants for events. So DjangoCon Europe that you're sitting in today, their travel grants budget comes straight from the Django Software Foundation, and that's something we're very happy about. We want to support the event in every way we can. They choose to do it that way. That aligns excellently with our values. There's lots of other events like this that are also more local that benefit from DSF funding to the same extent. Django Girls as well very frequently receive events funding from us. So we try hard we review quite a few proposals. We review on the order of 2 to 3 per meeting and try to understand the alignment with our mission and essentially give as much as we can back as grants or the fellowship program. There are other ways we might use the money in the future. We've discussed hiring an executive director to help us run the Django Software Foundation. Big topic for the year ahead, I hope. And I mentioned our merch store. So definitely small but mighty, built with threadless. It's good for us. Not massive numbers, but if you want a shirt, lots of people love them and they do contribute to our mission. As far as donating, GitHub, our website, corporate sponsorships, lots of options.
Okay. So that's the presentation part, and now we like to run a panel. Let's first start with board members, but I like to invite members from other teams at some point to the stage, and then we can talk about accessibility, fellowship program, and other important teams as well. What we can do is maybe, do you want to first introduce yourself and share whatever you want to share today?
Was a board or everyone?
Yeah, please, everyone.
So is this going into the live session? Is it not going?
I am not sure, but what happens is the mic will the mic of the laptop.
Okay,
Great.
Because otherwise it would be better if we go there, so people doesn't miss that. I'm Natalia. I'm one of the Django fellows, as Çağıl already mentioned. Currently based in Uruguay, which is in South America, and I'm working on the fellowship part-time. I'm also doing some freelance work using Django as my second part-time job. And I'm here with my partner and my daughter, who you might have seen run and run. And I have used Django since the very early days and doing web development for different companies. And I'm very excited to be here. This is my first DjangoCon Europe, my first DjangoCon ever. My first DjangoCon ever was last year in the United States, in Japan. So that was really good as well. And everything has been lovely, so thank you very much to everyone and the organizers particularly.
Hi, I'm Thibaud. I'm based in the UK. I'm a developer. I do open source for a living. I work on a project called Wacker, which is CMS based on Django for my employer Toastbox. I'm here on behalf of Hotbox and also on behalf of the Django Foundation as a volunteer for the conference and also volunteering with Django Girls. So that's what happens to you. You get sucked into open source and the volunteering event side of things, and then you have all the hats. So yes, one of my most recent hats is as a DSF board member as of 2024. Thank you for electing me. We have our members thanks to the individual members who vote for people they think will make a difference as to how Django runs as a project. So that's really useful. I think as for introductions, I want to say and do ask questions to our new board members, Sarah and I, if you feel like it. Personally, I saw lots of potential with Django, but also I have quite a few frustrations with how it runs and how things are. So trying my best to channel that energy in the best way, and hopefully there's interesting stuff for all of you to reflect on. Yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm working for Kraken. I'm a new board member, as you know. I'm also doing, I'm a co-founder of Django Space. So as you were saying, like when you're stuck in open source, you're doing a lot of stuff. So I'm also a member of the Django accessibility team. And I'm doing Django since a few years and trying to do more since that's also why I'm part of Kraken, since we're doing Django. And I would like to help also to have more people in the community. That's also why we launched Django Space, which is a program of mentorship. And this is something I would like to invite you if you have any interest, like to mentor people or just contribute. Feel free to talk to me also.
Hello, I'm Kátia. So I've been a board member since 2020. It's been a long time. I work for Fly.io, so I'm here on behalf of the company, but also on behalf of the DSF, and also as a volunteer for the DjangoCon Europe, and also for organizing the Django Girls on Saturday. You are invited. I'm from Brazil, and now I'm based in Berlin, Germany. I think that's it.
I'll do a quick run too. Çağıl, as I mentioned, I'm serving in the board as Vice President since December 2022, and yeah, interesting fact. I'm based in London, but I'm Turkish, so I see yeah, one of my hats in the DSF board is coming from a minority group as unfortunately there is only 4 Turkish people in the DjangoCon Europe at the moment, and none of them are coming from Turkey. So we have a great community, but need some representation from the parts of the world that doesn't have the privileges I do at the moment, living in UK, working for a big company, supporting, being able to support myself well, and also I'm super passionate about Django, so really want to contribute more to the community, and yeah, that's why I'm really happy to, and I want to do more than I'm doing before. And as Vice President, I'm mainly responsible from the individual members, and happy to say here soon on sprints, moving to forums from here, so be with us and transform more art. And also, before I...
Did you say that actually happened?
Yes! And yeah, and another big topic we have been working on in the last 2 years is the working group, so I'm hoping that it didn't happen this time with Europe, but still a little bit like having a more public announcements of the working group. And at some point, like we got a slide, like let's talk a bit more about working groups if we have time. Next, before having more people here, maybe we can give the mic to the audience. Like, maybe we can like have 1 or 2 questions that you would like to ask the board and our fellow. Anyone? No one?
I guess my question to the board members is, like, how can we empower, what, I guess this ties into the work groups idea, but how do we empower things to actually happen? Because there's always a lot of talk, there's always great ideas, there's always energy coming out of the conferences, and then we go home and life takes over, and we don't get the change that it can be faced.
Yes, please. Thank you. I'll start and hopefully you'll join. I'll be very honest, the board has very little time and there's only 7 of us. We are mostly here for the business as usual and the long-term vision. Anything that you need to see happening within this year's time frame, we need to find volunteers to do. And it's usually quite hard as people get stretched over many responsibilities. So to me, the biggest thing by far, there's 2 of them. There is looking for more money to accelerate the things that we can afford to pay for, like the fellowship program. And the biggest thing we're trying to do here is work with sponsors that are bigger, that have the budget to fund salaries of employees. That's what it comes down to. And from the volunteer side, personally, the one thing that I would say we need the most is people nominating more individual members to join our community. I think if you want to do one thing today, we will help tremendously. Our community is going to nominate one person to recognize their past efforts and make sure that we're aware of what they're doing. Then as far as, I guess, the coordinating side of things, there are a few things I think are also potential. Working groups to discuss a bit more. We also had a roadmap session not so long ago about things we would like to see change in the Django community. I think having the bandwidth with maybe the board or the fellows to follow up on those things over time go quite a long way. That's something that I know personally that is hard to sustain from one to the rest. So yes, money for salaries, more members, more volunteers, and things like the working groups to coordinate people we have at the moment.
Maybe I can add 2 points and support 1 point. There are different opinions, but from my experience being in the board almost 2 years now, what we can do best is to facilitate community with their efforts. As Thibaud mentioned, board unfortunately only have 1 hour together in a month, and we sometimes work often like async, but it's unrealistic for like 6-7 people to advance a whole community. So I think one thing is like we can all think about how we can like strengthen our like bonds as a community so that we can like have groups working towards some shared goals, and then board can support those efforts. And I think working groups is a huge step forward. I'm hoping once we move the individual membership group to forums, we will start to have more discussions with the like small group, and then like make it turn it into more like community wide discussions. But on that topic, like please do get involved with working groups. We need volunteers to lead the efforts there. And second of all, like fundraising. Like, if you're here, I imagine you're already putting some either effort or financial input into DSF. So you're doing your part. All we can ask is to just relay the message and help us fundraise more money so that we can have more fellows and exec director. Naturally, then we can make sure we widen our capabilities as DSF, and each of you as employees or on the market at some point. I always look when I'm changing jobs. If my next employee is somehow contributing to open source, not only projects but to communities that really makes me the professional that I'm today. So yeah, my 3 cents.
So I just want to add my perspective because I've been at the board since 2020, and when I joined, it was the beginning of the pandemic, so it was a different time when I joined, and it was like a new thing for me. So I think for 2 years we didn't have a lot of things to work on, even like the conferences, everything. Nothing was happening, so I didn't learn a lot at the beginning. And also in the past 2 or 3 years, we had this change of directors. So there were a lot of people who were for a long time on the board. So we had new people. It was like a good thing. And I understand that new people come with a lot of ideas. They are really excited to change everything, and I think it's a good thing. So I saw the difference between before and after the pandemic, and I think it was there was this difference. And I think in the past few years, I think one small example is changing the conversation between the DFS board members from the Google the mailing list, to Slack. Because I didn't know how to use the mailing list. I don't know, but it was really hard to have a real-time conversation, or even not real-time, but async conversation pretty fast. I didn't want to write a formal email. So I think this was a good thing to get more things done, even outside of the 1 hour that we have during the month, every month. So now we are actually solving things before and async. So for me, it's a huge improvement. And also the working groups, it's a good thing to get more people involved from the community. And also raising money, all the things that we need, helping the DjangoCon Europe organizers. So we need to understand what we need help with, and then get more people involved with the Django membership members. And so I can see that's my perspective from 5 years before.
Do we have maybe one more question, or I'm going to invite our old fellows here maybe and ask a few questions to you. Marius, Carlton, would you? Why the face, Carlton? Hello. Okay, let's start with you, Marius. Marius only stepped down 2 months ago.
Still recovering.
So I think it's very fresh. So how was, I think it was 5 years. How was your 5 years as a fellow? Maybe, I know it's difficult to summarize, but if you were to summarize your time as a fellow, like hopefully with more ups and downs, would you like to share that?
No pressure.
More ups.
So I've been a fellow from 2019 to 2024. I sat down 2 months ago and I'm still on a recap, trying to not checking things daily or hourly, trying to do not control everything that is going on in Django, at least no longer with this. So yeah, the last 5 years were really good. I learned a lot. I think that we made a big progress, both as a community and from framework perspective. We introduced a lot of new features. We now have many new members, and yeah, I think that everything is going well, and I'm pretty sure that it will be that way even without me. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit personally responsible for the way how Sarah developed as a Django contributor, and I'm really happy that she's next fellow that is currently working instead of me. So that's it.
Marish Shucks, he's literally the rock which Django rested on for the entire time as the fellow. So, I'm a year out of recap, so to speak. I've had that a little bit longer to acclimatise. That first period where I think the first 3 months I only slipped once, one afternoon, I found myself on track, just answering comments. And after about 20 minutes, I was like, no, stop! You don't do this anymore. By the end, I was ready for a change. Like, the 5 years is a long time to do that kind of intense ticket work. It's real work, it's hard. That's why we have the baby. And I'm absolutely certain that without the fellowship program, Django wouldn't have matured past that middle age to what it is, that middle teenage period. It wouldn't have got there. And the fellowship program is the reason why the framework is stable, the reason why it continues, and it's really important that we evangelize that to our companies and the community more widely, so that people think, oh, do you know what? I've got my payroll. I could have done it's hundreds of thousands every quarter, even in a small company. I could donate a few grand to the Django Software Foundation, which would keep the thing we built our business upon going. And I think we don't get that message out quite enough. So, I think let's make sure that people realise they can actually contribute cash.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah.
There's a question.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm just wondering for the fellows, what do you feel like the optimal number is, right? Well, I mean, now there's one full time, right? 2 half time. Would having 10 be too much? I don't know, some thoughts on that.
Who likes the answer? Just to clarify, we have 1 full time and 1 half time fellow.
Yeah, 1.5 fellows is fine, but it doesn't give any spare time for any bigger ideas that we might have. If we had 2.5 fellows, there would be capacity to take on maybe some more ambitious, or could we improve Django in some way type of things. Historically, the fellows weren't really allowed to work on Django, but I think that problem has been shown by DSF, that we could take on another fellow, and then the fellows could spend some time actually pushing features forward, and I think that would make a big change.
In order to answer that question, I think I will first ask this to the audience. Do you know what a fellow does? What's the fellowship about? Who knows what the fellowship is about?
I think I do.
Okay, so maybe I can try to give a short introduction, and this is maybe I don't think that we have in writing what the fellowship is and what are the duties that the fellowship includes. So there is like a list when you see for example, when Marius retired or announced his retirement, there was a call for applicants for filling that role. So there was a list of tasks that a fellow, someone applying for that role, should be able to handle those tasks. So you will say, okay, those are part of the fellowship tasks. And yes, they are. But there is no writing like a fellow is responsible for this. In order to to answer what will 1.5 fellow or 10 fellows do, I think that we need to first decide what we want to do and what we want the fellows to be responsible for. So we're still working on that and to clarify that, put it on the writing, and there is ongoing work into giving some, I was going to say formalizing the fellowship role, but not in the law sense or in the pure bureaucracy way, but in order to give a little more context and be able to go to more places to look for sponsor grants or money from people or companies in order to sponsor more work. And in order to do it, you need to be able to explain what a fellow does and what a fellowship is about. So I'm going to give a short introduction of what's my view about the value in the fellowship, and then we can try to answer your question. The Django community is very big, it's amazing, it's very friendly, communicative, and they are eager to help in general. That's my experience. And that as with humankind, collaborating, having a group organized to collaborate towards a common goal is super difficult. Because first you need to have them agree on the common goal, and then working to that towards that common goal. And even if you agree on a common goal, agreement means that each person thinks, yeah, I want to do that, but the understanding from each person of what does it mean to do something changes. So you might have two people in agreement saying, yes, we're going to do this cake, and for one of the person, the cake is chocolate for sure, for the other person is vanilla, and they might say, we're going to work together on this cake that we want to have, but then have different interests or different ideas of what the common goal is. So having said that, when you have a lot of people contributing to Django, they have all the energy and they are volunteering the work, their energy, the time, the electricity in the computer in order to do something, but the goal might be a little bit different. So I think that one of the main parts of being a fellow, and then one of the most difficult parts of being a fellow, you might agree or disagree, is to try to find this common denominator of what it is contributed, what do we want to have, or what is a good way to steer that energy, steer that willingness to help into a common goal, something that also aligns with what it is on the other hand of this equation, let's say. There are a given set of guidelines, rules, we can say, about how the code should look like, how the documentation should look like, what is important, what things that, despite being great things like typing, we are not going to include in Django because of these reasons. So there is a set of rules and guardrails, let's say, that we as a fellow we need to guard, but we also need to guard them in a way that we don't discourage people trying to contribute. Because there is a fact that the fellows alone, even if they were 10 or 20, I don't think they could accomplish what Django can accomplish right now with the community collaboration. Maybe you disagree with that. So if sometimes I think the fellowship as the duties of the fellowship being two main ones: housekeeping and safeguards, let's say, of the Django Code. And housekeeping meaning you have all this energy of people and all these achievables that are trying to be delivered and handed over, and you need to put those, maybe shape them a little bit, put them in the right place, and with the right looks. It's like, I don't know, decorating a house or building a house even. Everyone can bring materials and then bring pieces of the house to be put together, but if they can put together in not in the right way, because what it is the right way, in a way that doesn't fall over, that is maintainable over time, that it doesn't start leaking when it rains, and it doesn't start, complies with regulations and all that we have those efforts trying to be, still, as I said before, and to reach ideally a place where they're useful, but also, and very harmonic way with the rest of what is already there and coming. So, with that in mind, having more fellows, I think it's important. I think it will certainly be helpful. I'm not sure it's 10, but whatever amount we can have, I think it will be great, because there are things to do regarding reviewing PRs, triaging tickets, merging PRs, which is a little bit different than reviewing the PR, then releases, then mentoring. These things, there are some things that we could be doing, but we don't do because we don't have the time. Mentoring, attending more events, answering Django user questions on the Django user forum. Hopefully no. Thankfully, we have members that are answering questions from the users, because the fellows do not get any time into doing that because we have other things. So we try to, my priorities is usually unblock community to do things, but I can barely do things myself, though I would love to do things myself. So yeah, more fellows, I think it will be certainly, we have things for them to do in order to keep unblocking the community, and they keep having mechanisms in place for this steering to happen perhaps more organically or more automatically or more smoothly.
Daniela, a question, and I'll come back to you.
May I ask a more general question about governance?
Yes.
Some years ago, it was pretty easy to understand how Django was governed, and maybe there were lots of imperfections in that, but you knew where the decision-making lay, and you knew whom to talk to and how things were done. Now, I don't really understand it all myself now. It feels that it has become quite complicated, and there are structures and values that have been written and described, often in, it seems to me, in quite legalistic language. And I don't, when I look at an organization that I'm a part of, I want to be able to understand how the levers and balances of power in that organization work. And reading the things that I read about different parts of this organization, I have to confess that even though I've been part of it, I don't really have a good sense of who decides what or who to talk to in this kind of question. So I don't say I feel alienated from it, and probably there's a bit of an obligation on me to do a bit more harder work and try to get into it. But I feel a little bit of a barrier has come up, and I wonder if anybody else recognizes that or feels differently about it.
Okay.
I would confess, me too. When I joined the board, I didn't know really what I signed for, and even now I'm still learning, because there are many things we don't know. Like, I know that there's some stuff to do, but I don't know who I should ask to make some stuff happen. And I think this is something we have to do like together, like if you want to change something. And this is also why we want to move to the forum, because it will be more easy to